Alright guys, welcome back to the channel. I'm Dub and today we're doing a tier list for Valorant. I've had a lot of people asking me recently where I would rank agents and who they should be playing and things like that. So I'm going to do my best to create a pretty well-rounded ranking system and why I put the characters where I put them. And I'm going to justify it as best I can. But keep in mind this is a subjective list. This is what I've developed as my tier list through, I've been playing since release essentially, or since the beginning of closed beta essentially. So let's go ahead and get into it. Okay, so the rankings go like this: S, A, B, C. So S is going to be God tier, A is going to be good, B is decent, C is pretty bad, and then D is just unplayable. Let's go ahead and get into it. Breach, I think, is honestly the best character in the game. He's first up. I'm going to snap call put him at S because he's so good at controlling like a mid area with his peaks, and he has a flash. He's got a fissure, which is essentially a flash and a stun grenade at the same time. And he's got a one-shot ability on his little charge up, which is sometimes useful, but it gets you free kills probably 2-3 times a game. But Breach is just really good at controlling an area, and the maps right now are based around controlling mid, essentially. In all three maps, mid is vital to control. Okay, then we have Brimstone. Brimstone's one of those things, I'm going to put him at A tier just because you need someone like Brimstone on your team, right? You have to have a way to get on the site. And if you don't have Brimstone, Viper, I think Omen would probably do the same thing. Just a little worse. I think Brimstone, you have to have a character like Brimstone to get you onto the site. So I'm going to put him at A, but really aside from his smokes, I don't like much else on his kit. His molly's pretty good, it's got a decent slow on it, and his ult's decent as well, but really those are really niche. The smokes are going to be your main use for Brimstone. Okay, then we have Cypher. Cypher is actually probably the best character at solo controlling a site. I want to put him at A tier, but I think just because he has the ability to completely dominate a site solo and set his teammates up with all kinds of stuff, I want to put him at S tier just because I know he's super strong at controlling a site by himself. That way your team really doesn't have to worry about it. You give your team enough time to rotate around to you if they start to push your site. So Cypher, I'm going to put him at S tier even though I don't think he has very much use on attack. I've seen a few clips where he does some good things on attack, but really defending he really just dominates the defenders. I think I have to put him at S tier just because he's so strong of a defender. Next we have Jett. If I'm being completely honest, I've played a lot of Jett. This is the character I've played the second most amount with, and I just don't see the usefulness of her. Obviously she's a lurker. I feel like I have to put her at C tier. She is a lurker. She does a decent job at lurking. Her ult is actually really good for cleaning up rounds that went wrong. And I like the fact that she's accurate with her ult when she's in the air. But realistically, it's too niche to justify picking the character. Like her dash makes too much noise, her jump makes too much noise, and her smoke really doesn't last long enough. So really, there's not too much usefulness out of her aside from lurking or entry fragging on the site, which her entry fragging is actually pretty good. So I'm going to put her at C, but she could easily be B tier as well. She's somewhere in between those, but I usually just don't find the use in her. Okay, then we have Omen. I actually feel the same way about Jett as I feel about Omen, but Omen kind of does it a little better. His teleport plays can kind of be game-changing sometimes. His scatter's actually pretty useful, so I think Omen's just a better version of Jett, just because you can be a little more unpredictable. And his ult's better also. So I think Omen's just a better version of Jett, so I'm going to put him at B tier. And that's how I would look at that. Then we have Phoenix. So Phoenix is essentially the same thing that Brimstone does. He just does it more solo, right? So Brimstone's more of a team-oriented character, and Phoenix is a solo player. So for solo queue, you could probably pick Phoenix over Brimstone. Or Breach, sorry if I was saying Brimstone the whole time. But Phoenix, I think in solo queue, if you don't have a team, Phoenix is probably a better pick. But he's just a worse version of Breach, in my opinion. But he is good at controlling a mid area, so I'm going to put him at A just because mid's so important, and if you can have a Phoenix that's decent, he can control your mid for you. All right, next we have Sage. Sage is actually really good. The same thing Cypher does, but she has a little more utility, and she's better on attacker. So I'm going to put Sage at S tier for sure, just because her wall is super strong at just completely stopping a push. Her slows are really strong as well. It's 20 seconds that they just can't walk through the area if you throw both slows. one after the other. So Sage just really locks down an area and really denies all opportunity or entry to that area. So Sage is easily S tier, defender and attacker, honestly. Next we have Silva. A lot of people like Silva. I don't see the usefulness of him. He's a direct counter to Viper, which is a good thing for him. If you know your angles of your arrows and your shock darts, you can do some pretty cool things with him. He's probably about the same on attacker and defender. His ult's pretty useful for defending a bomb plant, but really you're getting info, but you're not able to do much with that info. You need someone else to do the things for you. And honestly, Silva just really doesn't do enough for me. Yeah, I gotta put Silva as C tier just because I don't usually see the usefulness of him. Then we have Viper, Bay herself. I gotta put Viper at S tier, but honestly I'm teetering between the line of S and A tier. I think a lot of people are putting Viper lower on their tier list just because they don't see the potential of her, but Viper's just a better version of Brimstone, right? If Brimstone's teetering between A and B, Viper's teetering between S and A. Just because Viper can really, really lock down a site when she's attacking, and if she's defending, you can completely control a critical point. I think she's better on attacking than defending because she allows you to get access to the site really, really easily. Like you can completely smoke off the site and get on there with Viper, and then she has her ult after that also if you wanted to use that. Last but not least, we have Raze, the most controversial agent in Valorant. And if I'm being honest with myself, I'm putting Raze at D tier. She's absolutely unplayable. Just because the only thing she has is damage with her abilities. And as we all know, and like the Riot CEO said, you don't actually kill with abilities in Valorant. Abilities just create a tactical opportunity for you to take the right shot, right? But realistically, Raze is going to be reworked over and over because she's a really tough agent to balance. So putting her somewhere in the tier list and cementing it really just doesn't make sense because she's going to be reworked for sure. But honestly, I don't think Raze is fun. I don't play her just because, I don't know, she seems too gimmicky. It's too Overwatch for me, and I just know she's going to be changed, so I don't want to rely on her as a crutch. Okay, but hopefully this helps. Hopefully it gives you some sort of direction for what agent you want to play, who you want to swap to. Maybe if your main character's gone, you can swap to one of these, depending on what your team needs. But as always, if you enjoyed the video, leave a like down below and make sure to subscribe. My Twitch is in the description if you feel like checking me out. And as always, have a good day, boys. Peace.
And I've been chilling, watching the ocean with you. Baby up with a slow motion crew. And we up in our clouds when people change, but not us. And we just chilling.